Well, she was, well, she said the initial.
Oh, yeah.
The initial. Exactly.
That's
That's the right contract, so you're contingent. I see 40 contracts a month. And they all have contingencies. Oh, 2 or 3 day inspection. Inspection. And her nose is the whole
I know, I'm like, donuts are
Your name came under regular. Yeah, it says from regular.
No, I just sell mortgages. So I'm selling retail.
so funny.
Do a little bit, like, the investors, honestly, the investors that I do deals for, either they're buying like the kitty condo for their kids, they're holding on to it, or they're construction guys that got a track record working on their they buy an old house that's and they got the money on
Yeah, I do all that.
to do the rehab. And they're buying
Not just do one type of market, they do like 7, 8, 9, 10, 6 different types of markets. You gotta do it all.
amount of money that needs to get it up to where people want to buy.
We're doing that, my partner and I, but with a much smaller capital heights.
You got a nephew.
And one of my concerns is, if we
You ain't got no kids around.
get somebody who's interested,
What about church?
if they have issues or anything like that in terms of, borrowing money
Just
or
run it you right, make sure something like that. Just run it you right, and
well, right now, we have some people who are interested in various ways. They're considering it as far as the guy next door is thinking about it as an investment. There's other people who are interested in it possibly to own or whatever.
Well, I mean, you gotta be, if you're a straw buyer, if you're a straw buyer,
No, I understand.
well, I mean, if they have a lot of people that you would basically pays it like
If you want a lot of calls,
in some cases, the person buying a house
you do a lot of stuff to
pay
get
for themselves, you can make the payments, you walk away. So a lot of things got burned that way. But if you're, if that's the case, someone wants to buy it, and you said you would find somebody who is qualified to buy that house, and then you would just, you would basically,
an annual list, like there's 3 and a half properties.
they're gonna buy
Get rid
it.
of the properties.
They're gonna say it's their full intention to live in it.
Not
Not even rent to own, because rent to own is something that's
You would ask them, you said the total situation.
What? Oh, yeah, you're right.
There's no rule.
No, I really didn't. I was gonna ask you because I just starting out for business that you're working out.
They've got to qualify.
What is the saying on there? It's good to be a real estate agent. And just that
City Park just stopped work order because they didn't.
I was gonna ask you about
Now, the bank's got a lot of property that's like that, and this person is having a line.
There's so many
My residence, I planned on
It
living.
could be like.
It wasn't gonna be an investment. It
Alright guys, I'm not seeing all the networking, but we got a lot of information to get through.
And the deed, they are basically saying, this is how you're purchase, how about our full intention to live in this property. Buying is illegal. That's why it's illegal.
Alright. What Sid and I are gonna go over right now is, how to do a really, really quick analysis of a property. Now, the reason that you would do a really quick analysis of the property is the original analysis or the beginning analysis, so that you can try to get your hands around what it is you're dealing with. I find a lot of times, I'm sure Sid does too, do we have any engineers, scientists, any of those kind of people in the room? Hold your hands up. Hold your hands up high. Be proud. Be proud.
I'm a geek.
Right? Shh, listen, hold your hands up. I didn't say take them down. Hold them up.
Engineers.
Okay? IT people. Okay? You are prone to analysis by paralysis. Paralysis by analysis. Okay? Just know that. Okay? It is a good thing. It is a skill set that you bring to the table that people like me don't possess. Okay? So when you get into analyzing and you know that you're an analysis paralysis type of person, always be in the space to not overanalyze or you will miss the deal. You will miss it. So I'm going to have Sid share with you what he does when Lynn brings him a deal that Lynn thinks is a good deal.
He actually bought one last week. We went to look at it Wednesday, Thursday. Thursday.
All right, let's talk about that deal. He brings you this deal. How did you analyze it down and dirty quick?
Well, I mean, first thing I went to visit the property. First, I looked at the electric panel.
Hold on. So you went and you visited, you did an on-site visit.
Right, the on-site visit. I walked in, I looked at the walls to make sure the walls were good. I looked at the ceiling to look at the height of the ceiling, 8-foot, 9-foot ceilings. And then I quickly, when I walked in, I'm looking at outlets, how many outlets are on the walls. I'm looking at light fixtures, I'm looking at windows, like are the windows old, original windows? Then I'm looking at the space, like the property we went to look at. The kitchen is kind of narrow, but the dining room out here was huge. So then I look at, okay, what are the possibilities? You could knock this wall down and open it up and make the kitchen island bigger, put some pendant lights, put some dimmer switches, recess lights. So I'm kind of like, as I'm walking, I'm analyzing stuff like that. And then I went to look at the water heater downstairs.
So mechanicals.
I looked at all the mechanicals, see if it's gas, if it's electric. I looked at the air conditioning, see if they had air conditioning, central air. If they don't have it, then they run ductwork. And running ductwork and putting a unit, it could be pretty expensive, anywhere from $6,000 to $8,000 to $9,000. Depends on the size and the height of the house. So I looked at that, and then I looked at to see, well, okay, how many walls would I have to knock down, and I looked at the floors, the hardwood floors. So then from there I had an idea before I even walked out, based on the neighborhood. I had already driven around the neighborhood already.
Okay, hold on. Now we're backtracking. So you did an on-site visit. Did you drive the neighborhood before?
Yeah.
Was this a Maryland, DC?
No, this is
It
DC.
doesn't matter.
DC.
Yeah. So he does a drive-by of the neighborhood,
First.
on-site visit. But did you wait a week to go see the property, or when did you go see
No, we
it?
went right here,
Like within
an hour.
an hour. You guys hear that? Right away. You need to drop everything and go see this property. Now, you've done your physical inspection. Now, how did you do a down and dirty quick analysis of the numbers?
Well, just, like I said, based on looking at the big ticket items, that I knew where my large expenses were, which all the windows got to be replaced. So the way I do it is $300 a window, average. So it could be 20 windows, take 300 times 20. Now if it's a real expensive neighborhood like Potomac or Tyson's Corner, then you may want to put in a different brand of a window. So it could be $600-700 a window,
What made you determine that the windows had to be replaced?
because they're old. Because the thing is, if people are going to buy a renovated home, they want it renovated. They want new windows, they want new appliances, they want new floors, they want new this, they want new. So, I mean, if not to replace the windows and do everything else, it's going to be more of a negative.
It also has tremendous value on the back end of the house, where you have your front end marketing, which is what we discussed, how we get the deal, right? You also have marketing of yourself. okay, networking and all that. But then you have a next level of marketing, which is to market the property, to then market for a potential buyer. And so your property has to be the single best property in that entire neighborhood. That's why we do one home at a time, and we make it the best in the entire neighborhood.
Right, and plus, when I drove around, I saw the other renovations that took place in the 3-4 blocks, and every renovation that had happened, they all replaced the windows.
And I would add on to that, when you're gonna go see this property, you ought to see what other properties are on the market or that are under contract that you can get in to see, that other people have done, and walk into those homes and tour them so you see what your competition is.
I have a quick question about the windows. You had mentioned there's a criteria, $300 for one area, or one type of house, $800. What helps you decide which window?
Well, okay, so if you're gonna sell it for like 1.5, it's gonna be your exit, so you're gonna go with the better window.
Okay.
If you're gonna sell something for 80,000, 100,000, 300, 500,000, then you use a different type of window.
Okay.
Builder grade,
Right.
vinyl double hung,
White.
white.
Oh, one thing for, if you guys are looking around, I've gotten clients getting trapped by this. Check and make sure you're not in the historic district, be it Virginia, DC, Maryland, doesn't matter. The windows are gonna have to be wood.
Yes.
And a lot
Well,
of them won't even take.
that's a great point that you bring up, not even windows, if you are
The
a
facade.
new,
Period, yeah.
you don't wanna deal with a historic property because you are now bound by historic rules and regulations governing you, and it's very, very expensive.
Do the homeowners associations influence your renovation?
They can,
Yes.
yes.
Especially
And I asked the
mostly
friend
on
of
the
ours,
exterior.
they had to replace their roof, and they said, oh, no, it's gotta be the same
Yeah.
type of roof that you buy, even though the house is 30 years old. I
So
said,
that's all part
BS,
of your
but-
due diligence,
Yeah.
okay? That would be secondary due diligence, okay? You don't wanna paralyze yourself in
Right.
the beginning by that kind of stuff, so, now, yes.
It came up, I'm glad you brought it up. We looked at a property a couple weeks ago that was part of an HOA. How do you get those HOA documents that quick? You're gonna close in 7 days and you don't know, how do you get those HOA documents
It's
that
all
quick?
contingent on your contract.
Okay,
Well, and then
so
you
that
can
means you
also,
can't close in 7, you wouldn't be wise to close in 7 days if you don't have those HOA documents?
It's very rare to ever see a settlement happen in 7
Yeah.
days.
Okay.
Especially with all the robo-signing and the title issues that have been out there.
and the
Y-
recordings.
In the recordings and all of that, yes, you have cash, yes, you can close quick, but you normally, if you're wanting to close in 7 days, you need to be really careful. I would do a 30-day close,
Yeah.
or sooner, if both parties agree to it.
Okay.
Yeah, and one more comment about the HOAs. Down in Montclair, Virginia, in the Quantico area, there are at least in that area 3 different HOAs for the fancy Montclair area. And you have to be a member of each one of them, depending, if you are in that particular part of Montclair where you buy, you may end up being a member of all 3 of them.
It's all part of your due diligence. Okay,
Across
so
the
we got a
street.
lot of stuff we gotta cover. So now you have an idea. Yes, you have experience, you kinda have an idea, probably what, 50, 65K? Okay.
But this one here, this one, you know, because on the back, I noticed there was no deck, but it had a garage in DC. But the garage was not utilized properly. So to kind of bring that garage back to life and everything, so I was thinking on this property, it's gonna be more like 70,000.
Okay, so just, the guys, this is a quick overview. What I'm hearing, what I'm experiencing and seeing, and I will put my disclaimer out there, I don't do much single-family flips, renovations anymore, because I'm in multi-unit. But I can tell you that what I'm seeing and hearing from Baltimore to Northern Virginia, the average price range you wanna be in is the first-time buyer price range, okay? 3 to 4 bedrooms, preferably 4, or a 3-bedroom that you can make a 4-bedroom. 2 baths, possibly the ability to add a third, a garage is preferential. Your rehab, what I'm seeing all over the area is anywhere from 45 to 70,000 is what people are putting out in renovations. That's your average first-time homeowner. What are you, I mean, that's what you guys are seeing too?
Yeah.
Between 45 and 70? You know, obviously you get into an older property, you're dealing with more structure, you're dealing with a bigger type of a property, you could easily get up into 100 plus.
And if you get a property with a crawl space, that has crawl space, make sure you guys get into the crawl space and look at the joists. Because that's where a lot of the home inspectors will catch you. And a lot of people pay attention to the inside the house, but a couple of the joists could be cracked or broken. And so get into the crawl space as well.
And doing a quick analysis is what you're presenting here. Like you said, just a ballpark figure on the windows was $300. It could be more or less. Can you possibly just give us a ballpark figure on some of those items? Because as a new person going into a property, you have to put a rehab cost on something, and just a rough estimate you're gonna come back with, but you may not get a chance to go back in there again.
Okay, so let's just say electrical, right? So if you gotta go into a house and totally take out all the outlets, all the fixtures, everything, it's gonna cost you at least $10,000 to do all electrical in the house.
That's on the high end?
No,
No.
that's supposed to be average.
That's average.
He's talking about a heavy up and rewired.
Yeah, that's running new wire, 10 tubes, 14 tubes, all that stuff, 6 gauge, all that stuff. Okay, and then the same thing with plumbing. So if you got old plumbing to run the whole plumbing, and if you got 3 bathrooms, you got a kitchen, you got 3 levels, it's gonna be at least $12,000 to $15,000 for new water heater and everything.
You said,
That's copper.
Sid, how good are you? How quick can you get in and do that? I mean, let's say you've got a contractor that you like, he's your buddy, and you know he's good. 30, 40, hour and a half, 2 hours, what's a good, because if their time is money, you know, and you don't want to just run your boys ragged, and you want to at least compensate them a little bit for coming out because you found a property that you like.
I mean, if they're good, if they're an inspector, they should about 60 minutes to really be able to do a good job.
60 to 90 minutes.
Do you always use copper or do you use PEC or anything like that?
I use CPVC and copper.
Depends on what's existing.
You see, you go out and you see something, you have to rip all the copper.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Or they don't wanna put
No,
copper
no,
back
no, no.
in.
If copper's been ripped out, you go back in with CPVC. All right, so
And then we said the roof, so it depends on the size of the roof. It could be anywhere from like $5,000 to like $6,000, $7,000. Depends on the height. Depends if it's going to be slate. You know, if it's 2, 3 pitches. Depends on, you know, roofs could vary.
I will tell you that anybody that is a part of our investor agent program, I mean, I have rehab budgets that break down, you know, what it costs to do things, and I'm sure Sid does too, and we can actually put together an entire spec sheet. It's a cheat sheet. And when we actually go out on site to do an inspection of some units, you will be given a rehab sheet that you will use to create your rehab budget. So if you're present during that training event, you will actually get hands-on information to be able to do a budget.
One of the questions I had about the roof is when you go and look at the attic, I don't really see on those spec sheets where to put the attic stuff, like if the attic doesn't look quite like the beams are kind of bowing, or just insulation, or, you know, just infestated. Is that a whole nother cost, do you add that to the roof?
No, inside the attic?
Yeah.
No,
The joist?
that's going to be part of the whole
Yeah.
project. Because once they take the shingles off, they take the plywood off, they get to the joists.
Yeah.
If some of them are broken, you got to replace them.
And the insulation too, is that part of it?
The insulation is usually separate from
Separate, okay.
The, I think the
roof.
question is separating them. If you're dealing with joist issues, that's structural.
Okay,
Because you're dealing with the structural integrity of the house,
okay, if you're dealing with the insulation, is that an insulation issue?
That's, your insulation is separate, it's a separate line item.
Okay.
So mechanicals, a furnace. I can tell you, because I just priced them out, a furnace is anywhere from $2,500 to $5K.
Now, that's just the
No
furnace,
ductwork,
that's just no ductwork.
That's a gas furnace. I can tell you electrical's a little bit cheaper, but $2,500 to $5K.
What size was this, 3.5 ton?
1.5 ton for a
1.5 ton.
2-bedroom.
Okay. And that's without the ductwork?
Ductwork's already installed.
Yeah.
And the ductwork will be, what, how much more?
Well, it depends on how many rooms you gotta feed, how many it depends how high. It's-
On the average, say,
It could be about
bedrooms.
maybe 12,000, maybe 15 with the whole system. Because you gotta cut the floors, you gotta run it, you got
Walls,
bulkheads.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of stuff you gotta do with the ductwork. You gotta make sure it's gonna it's gonna provide the proper ventilation upstairs when it comes summertime. When you got the thermostat on 60, 65, the upstairs is cooling properly, so it's gotta be proper size of the floor.
And it's very simple to know when you walk into a property if you see registers. Floor registers, wall registers, ceiling registers, that there's forced air. If there's forced air in the property, you know there's ductwork.
Where do you draw the line when you say to yourself, okay, is this a tear down and rebuild, you know, like, if it's too much money to rehab, at what point, like, what's your ratio for
Well, okay,
saying
so
this is a tear down?
I've done those before, but so I look at it like this, so if the house is sitting on an acre of land, it's a small little, ramp, like a 3-bedroom, then that's a tear down, you put up a colonial. Because it just makes no sense to redo and put $100,000 into a property like that. So usually after $70,000, $80,000, you know, it depends on the neighborhood, the property, as long as it doesn't have a lot of structure damages, then I'll do the rehab, but if it has structure damages and all these internal issues, then either walk away from it or tear it down, if the neighborhood allows you the outcome, the money on the back end.
Right, the other side to that is, let's say it is a renovation, it's all numbers game. If you find that the asking price is $150,000, the ARV is $250, but it's gonna require over $100 in renovations and rehab, you walk away. You don't try to put a square peg into a round hole, because it absolutely is numbers, it's no emotion, it just don't work.
A lot of times you can see out there advertised now, the ductless systems. Have you used them, and is it something you would consider, or just?
I've never used it.
I put them in, but the thing you have to remember about a ductless system, it can only condition one space. It doesn't travel between doors and rooms. So, yes and no. You can use it on the first floor with an open floor plan, but upstairs in the bedroom levels, you'd have to buy multiple air handlers, and it costs more than a regular duct system at that point.
Okay.
They're pretty efficient though, from what I've heard. If you put them in individual rooms, right?
Oh, yeah, but they cost more. You might as well just put the conventional duct system
Is that right?
in. Yeah.
But do you have to consider if the space for the ducts and the bulkheads and lower ceilings and all that, does that come into play as
Oh,
far
yeah,
as
definitely.
architectural,
Yeah, definitely.
architecture may not permit you to maybe put in a duct, is it?
Just space. If you have an attic you can get to with enough space, it'll save you a lot of money because you don't have to run some.
Right, now, I will tell you this as an investor, never. Those tankless water heaters, all that, never, never.
Okay,
correct.
If you're going to live in this home as your primary
Right, that's
residence,
better.
and you wanna put those kind of features in, go for it. You will never, ever, ever get the return on your money, ever, to put in that fancy kind of stuff. No, stick to the basics, what works.
You had a question?
How expensive is a tankless water heater versus a regular?
Double,
Triple, actually.
double to triple.
It's not worth it, like you said, unless it's your house.
And you're gonna live there a long time to write it off on your energy savings and taxes and all that.
All right, let's keep moving. So we got some of these figures in there. Okay, you said, how much did you think this one?
About
renovation?
70.
About 70,000? Okay, so now, he's gone out 70K, okay? So you go back to the office, what is the sales price?
Well, right now, we're gonna be putting a short sale offer on this property, and hopefully we'll get it at the numbers we wanted at.
Okay, well,
So
let's
it's-
talk numbers so that everybody knows.
Well, the outstanding loan is about 310 on this property right now. And so we're gonna put a short sale in for about 225 to 230, putting a short sale offer on that.
All right, let me get all this out of the way. So what's the ARV on it?
In that particular neighborhood, we're thinking about maybe about 450.
But your experience, so for someone that's new, I would probably go to 400, just to be safe. Your repairs
70.
are 70. And holding costs, what do you do?
Well, on the holding cost, I have that actually included in my 70 there.
Okay, so that's included.
Yeah.
Can you break that out for folks?
What does it mean? What does it mean?
Oh, holding cost is like any type of, so if you use private money or hard money, you have interest you gotta pay.
Oh, okay.
And if you have electric bills, the water bill, any type of other additional HOA fees, so any of the fees that may be, as you're holding the property.
So say what percentage of, excuse me, the repair did you allocate for your holding loss?
10%
Yeah,
usually.
it's about 10%.
And that's what it's gonna take for you to hold it. Exactly, like you said, utilities on the back end, your agent fees, your realtor fees, closing costs. Closing costs typically run about 3 to 4%.
Now, if you're your own agent, investor, you get to keep that money.
And is your staging included in your holding costs, or is that a separate?
No.
No, that's a separate
Okay.
fee.
Staging, this is an expense you have to take into consideration. How much do you spend on staging? This is a must, by the way. This is not even an option. This is a must.
So
What do you spend?
one of the things I did years ago, I went to Walmart and I bought these air mattresses. And I used, a lot of that air mattress stuff. We got a bunch of comforters and stuff.
Walmart and Target are the best
Yeah.
for staging.
So-
We're staging the house tomorrow.
It could be anywhere from 1,500 up to 2,000. But I already have my stuff, so I'm just reusing a lot of my
So
stuff.
that's my next question. Do you stage yourself or do you have a company do it?
Now, either we'll do it or we'll have somebody do it, but it just depends on the property. Now, if you market the property the right way, you should have it sold.
Right.
So therefore, you don't even have to stage it. So if you're doing the construction and renovation and you're at the same time marketing the property and you let people know coming soon, hopefully you'll have a contract and therefore this expense would not have to be taken.
Right. I have a property out off of 81, a single family it's a townhouse that we only lived in for 6 months that I bought several years ago on a short sale. And I've done nothing with it, honestly. It's just sitting there and I'm eating up taxes and HOA fees. So I'm gonna just dump it. So I have a realtor, because it's an hour and a half for me, so I have a realtor, a member, an agent, investor agent, who's gonna meet me tomorrow. I'm bringing some of my staging stuff, she's bringing some of hers, we're gonna wipe it down, we're gonna stage it. But what she's gonna do, and I thought this was really cool, she said, do you mind if I call all the other listing agents in the area and let them know that we'll be there, not an open house, but that we'll be there tomorrow afternoon between this hour and this hour after we get it staged, do they wanna come by and take a look? So she's already one step ahead of me, and I'm an agent. So, I, as an agent, know where my markets are, where my comfort zone is. I'm not willing to drive an hour and a half to unlock the door for one showing. My time is way too valuable. But I would rather give it to her and pay her very, very well for that. So don't ever short circuit, don't ever discount your agents, ever. They work very hard and they actually get very little.
That's true.
Okay? Yep. All right, so all is said and done, you got all the holding costs, we broke all that down, so what is your MAO?
On this particular property, probably be close to like 68, 70%.
No, the actual offer you're gonna put in.
We're gonna go 230 is what we're gonna submit the offer to the bank.
So they're gonna put in at 230.
What's the meaning of MAO?
MAO, maximum allowable offer. No emotion, all numbers. So, anybody got a calculator? Or a quick mind?
Engineer.
What's the question?
All right, 230,000 plus 70,000,
300.
300. We have an ARV of 450. What's the potential profit?
100,000. If you take the roadside, 100.
100,000. Now, don't think any more into what I just said. $100,000 potential.
Yeah.
Is that a deal you would do?
Yes.
Yes. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Now, do you think that it's going to be 100,000? Could it be a little less? Could it be a little more? What if the profit was only 20? Would you do it?
I wouldn't.
Would you do it?
I would do it, not at 20. I mean, well, it depends on the area too.
Too much
But
work.
it would be risky, very risky. at 20.
Anybody in here do it at 20?
Because I'm new at the business, I don't know how to do.
If you
There's a lot
don't
of things to go
stand,
wrong.
if you don't stand to make 20,000 profit, and that doesn't mean that there's a 20,000 spread after you analyze it, because there's too many things that can go wrong.
It's too many
And then you
variables.
end up breaking even. Now, I will tell you, on some of my first deals that I ever did, I broke even. And the value was in what I was taught during that. But you don't wanna spend 6 weeks to 4 months doing a rehab and make nothing.
Along that
Yeah.
same lines, Tammy, do you have a percentage cutoff? In other words, not a dollar amount, because you can't say, I'll only do a deal if I'll make 20,000 in the worst case scenario? Is it
30%.
It's really subjective.
30%.
Subjective.
I mean, if you're doing 5 deals a month, I guess you could
Yeah.
probably do
You can evolve,
20,000.
yeah.
Well, and it's also based on experience, because at this level, he's also a licensed contractor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, he can be tight with the numbers, plus being a contractor, he can be real tight with the labor and the materials. Someone new, you wanna be ultra conservative. Very low on the ARV and very high on the repairs,
There you go.
very high. You know, because you wanna leave yourself room. Because why? Stuff
Goes back.
happens at every property.